I don't know why you're fidgeting more.
You
keep moving stuff around.
Well, do you reckon having the laptop like that is okay or not? Like at that angle, or is that too?
I thought we agreed it was fine, and then while I was preparing the program, you moved again. Like we're just moving. For those watching on YouTube, Stephen's worried that you can't see enough of him.
And the logo,
mate. You can see the logo. Jesus Christ, people know who you are. All right.
Okay.
Really, I don't think the logo.
610 episodes?
I don't think the logo's going to add.
And just quietly, your shifty little hitting of the record button has come back to into play.
I literally just said, and I'm recording now.
Okay, right. I thought you meant the cameras. But you'd have to have the cameras and this recording at the same time.
Shifty hitting of the button.
Yeah. Can I have a look? Do you reckon you can show everyone your little checklist? Can I show the checklist? There's the checklist, everyone.
Two Blokes pre-flight checklist.
Yes.
Because there's been some issues.
What he left off it was to check the sound levels. Is that right?
There was some issues.
It wasn't on there.
For those that haven't worked it out, we had to re-record 3 times one of the private feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't hit record on one of them. And then...
No, you had the sliders.
No. I didn't hit record on one of them.
Oh, my God.
And then when we went, Jesus, it's been 15 minutes. I have to start all that again. It was a deep, meaningful podcast. And then I went, okay, good, excellent. Well, let's go again. I hit record. We were chatting for a couple of minutes and I looked down and went, I didn't push the faders up. It was pretty embarrassing. So
this is podcasting 101.
Mate,
everybody. This is the checklist.
This is how we roll.
That's an efficient way to do things. I know
camera angles.
When I got my drone pilot's license, we had to go through the checklist. That's very important.
Harry's
a pilot has got a checklist.
Harry is now a drone pilot.
Is that right? He got his license?
No, he's 12.
Okay.
He said to me the other day, he said, can I learn how to fly a drone? I went, why? He goes, because we're going to do it.
Because it's fun.
We're going to do it at the end of the week at school. And I went, are you? He goes, I want to learn before then. I went, I respect that. I'll bring one home.
He doesn't want to make a fool of himself.
I brought home the Mini and taught him. He picked it up in one go. He was perfectly fine. And
lucky his dad's got about 10 of them, eh?
Exactly.
That helps.
I'm thinking, who cares if anything happens, right? Anyway, so he's flying it yesterday afternoon. Every minute he just in the backyard. No, just in the backyard. I said, mate, just don't go anywhere other than our house. You live in the country.
You're not near the airport like me.
Seriously.
I can fly the 249 gram one at my house.
Yes,
because it's under the 250.
That's what Harry's flying. Is the Mini. Yeah.
Okay.
And he did good. I'm not with no screen. When I'm not giving him yet the screen because I want him to learn visual.
Oh, so there's no screen at all.
No,
not even a phone.
No. Okay. No, I just want him to learn how to fly.
Oh, so just the flight, so the photography part.
And then I said,
later.
what do they got at school? He goes, it's not one of these. I mean,
it's Inspire 3.
No, he goes, it's controlled by an iPad. And I went, so it's one of those Wi-Fi ones. It's probably some real dodgy.
Amateur hour.
Yeah.
Right.
But
his debut was on a nice DJI Mini.
And I've obviously given him whatever I've got. And so he was sick today at home. And
did he? Is he sick today? He thinks, hang on a minute, I'm going to be sick today so I can fly the drone.
He texts me and he goes, can I fly the drone this morning? I went, yeah, go for your life. Anyway, then I get a photo of a broken prop.
Uh-oh.
And he goes, I didn't crash it today. I just heard a weird noise, so I landed it, and this is what it was. And I went, well, mate, there's nearly always spare props in the bag.
Yeah.
He said, no, there's not. I said, check. Zippers, everything. Yeah, and about an hour later, he goes, I found it. So
you got to find
the prop on it.
Find the right prop, though.
Well, I hope you put the right one on.
Because, there's orange and black, and you got to put it on the right.
Yeah,
because one of them goes that way, one of them goes counterclockwise.
Soon find out. Yeah. This is the Mini 2 or something, so they're screwed in. They're not the clip-on ones.
But still need to put the right one on the right prop. Yeah.
We'll soon find out.
How's that, eh? Drones. Whoops.
Oh, hello. Welcome to microphones.
Yeah.
But, as a 12-year-old learning to fly a drone, how good's that?
Hey, mate, that is a really good skill to have, Because I think using a drone in the future, it's not just a flying camera. We all know that. But I think there's going to be a lot of industry. What about that? There's going to be a lot of industries, I reckon, that'll require it. I remember when I did my drone pilot's license, it was a week-long class, and there were 2 farmers in my group, in my class. So they were going to use them for their crops and to look at their fence lines and all that. So having a drone license is a nice, cool skill to have. Yeah. But I'll tell you a little funny story. A friend of mine employed me to photograph his factory for the company he works for.
Yeah.
And he knew I was a pilot. He goes, okay, would you be able to do it? I said, he goes, how much? And I said, well, I'll just give you, mates rates. And he goes, we want to just hack an aerial shot of the factory. And so, because they've got like factories around the world, they want to have the Sydney one.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, do you reckon you can film inside too? I said, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. And what happened, I took the drone, it was my Inspire 2, right, my big one, and filmed outside, and that was fine. Went inside and took my eye off it for 1 second, and it backed into a wall and crashed, broke it, right? Had to it cost me like $1,200 to repair it. But because of the GPS signal inside, because outside it just sticks there. Inside,
they can't hover.
I honestly, I was there sort of getting a wide shot, and then it just sort of just backed in, just clipped the wall, and just went and just collapsed. And I'm thinking, he felt so bad. I said, mate, hey, it's not your fault. It's my fault. It happened. Yeah. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, what are you sorry for?
Did he then say, did you get the shot though?
No, we got the shot. No, we got all the shots he wanted. But yeah, it was had to get a repair job done. Took it down to Sphere, our mates at Sphere. Yep. On the way home, I rang him and said, man, I'm dropping off my drone right now. And it was cost me, I think, $1,000 or $1,100 to repair it. Yeah. So, then the job was a lot less than $1,100. So I lost a bit of money.
I mean, it's a weird thing because it's just embarrassing, really.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I did it. Jolly and I were down, and this is early days of drones. So I had like a
Phantom 3.
One maybe, or two, right? Early days.
So one's didn't have its own camera yet.
Yeah.
Put a GoPro on it.
You know what? I think it would have been a 2 that had the camera. I think the 2 had the camera on it.
Okay.
Anyway, and we were down at a dam somewhere south of Sydney, and just beautiful shots and stuff. And I'm doing this. It's coming along like the ridge of the dam, just flying along, and I'm just going hard left all the way along, and then it just went straight into a brick wall because I'm like on the middle of the dam, and it's flying away, and you don't have a perception of distance.
And there was no object detection in those days. Yeah.
Nope. So
and the Inspire 2, which is back up and flying, by the way, so it's all good now. Yeah. There's no reverse, so backwards there's no object detection. So forward, if I tried to fly forward into the wall, it would have stopped.
Yep.
But backwards, not to be.
Mate, isn't it wild how far they've come? Because you get the Mavic now, and
the little ones have
up, down, left, and right.
Mate, this was only about 2 years. It was 2 years ago I did this. Yeah. I didn't tell you at the time, did I?
No. Yeah. You're very...
I was a little embarrassed.
Yeah, you're very good at not wanting to share embarrassment.
Well, at this time I have. But I'm human.
You know how...
I'm human. And you know what? It's my only crash. I've never crashed. Touch wood. Never crashed before.
I'm going to only mention it briefly. Yeah. But just...
What?
I remember you hurt your wrist at one point.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to talk about how you did it.
I did tell you how I did it. I was running.
You told me, but you didn't want to say it anywhere.
Yeah, I was running. Yeah. Broke my left wrist.
Yeah. You literally didn't want to say how it happened on air or anything. You didn't want that on the record.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Neither do I. Yeah. I'm just like, geez, man, things
just
happen.
fell over.
Yeah.
It's
pretty funny.
I appeared clumsy. Yeah. It just was me falling forward down, running down I remember going up a little embankment and coming down. I sort of lost my footing. And just put your hands out to protect yourself, and then came down oddly on my wrist, and that was it. Yeah,
good times.
I remember that the following week I had a cast on my arm, and Swan got me to do an infomercial for him.
Oh,
and
really?
here's me with Janie Seal. I'm doing an infomercial for the morning show.
Yeah,
and here's my broken wrist is tucked away in the couch, so you can't see it. Even my photo I took with Janie Seal, I've sort of got my arm behind my back so you can't see it. Anyway. Clumsy Mumsy.
Clumsy Mumsy. Well, that's a great way to start the show. And with that, we should do this.
Welcome to Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Not a bad price.
With Trev Long from EFTM.com.
Really handy device.
And Stephen Fennick from techguide.com.au.
Episode 610, thanks to the great people at Netgear and Arlo. And for those watching on Facebook or YouTube, what an amazing intro.
Hello.
How good was that intro?
That was brilliant.
I
love the little addition of the little videos as our names came up.
Right.
Great idea that was, wasn't it?
Because it was his idea, okay? He's like, get him to do that. I'm like, okay, fine.
That was nice, mate. Well done.
But I don't have stings or interstitial videos yet, but we've got the intro.
We're getting there. Send me the bill, okay, for that one. All right.
For your advice.
Although we're going to talk about something where I've I've let you off the hook for something, which we'll get to in a moment.
No, let's just get straight into it.
Yes.
I owe you $100.
You do, but I'm letting you off the hook.
The moment Kelly Bayer Rasmarin was announced as having resigned from Optus,
which was Monday morning.
So I got, I reckon, 25 text messages that morning saying she's resigned. I'm like, yeah, I'm writing the article now.
Yeah.
And then after the announcement, like once it really hit mainstream media, I got another 55 messages on every single platform going, so do you owe Stephen the money now? Or does Stephen owe you money? So
I won the bet.
A lot of people thought that you owed me. And I'm like, nah. No. Like in the man cave, everyone was like, Stephen owes you money. I'm like, nah. I said by the time
before
he
you
gets
get back to China.
China,
you got back to China.
No, before you got back from China is what we agreed Sunday morning.
But even so, I still won the bet anyway, yeah.
Except, word on the street is that she resigned last week and the text message didn't go through. There's been some cracking
little rim shot there, mate.
That one plus
so you technically won the bet, is what you're trying to say.
Let me also, by the way, plenty of word that she did actually resign last week, but that's not relevant. It wasn't publicly announced.
Well, let's talk about that. At the inquiry, we were still in China, right? So we were watching a lot. We were 3 hours behind.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it was earlier in the morning for us.
Yep.
And she was even asked about that. She said, well, the AFR had a story to say that she's thinking of resigning.
Yep.
And she had to front the Senate, and then she said, "Are you resigning?" As well, I'm not thinking of myself.
Now's the time to focus on the.
And then she goes, "Well, so are you resigning?" And she says, "I think I've answered that question," and sidestepped it. That was sort of the lead of my story when I wrote it. So you're saying that she could, I know it was a joke what you said, but are you saying that she had it in her mind that she'd made a decision back then? Or?
I've heard everything from she was resigning before the outage happened.
Inquiry.
Like no,
really?
before, like there was word. Yeah, internally there's people saying she was resigning before even that.
Yeah,
but I've look. The fact is, she didn't resign on Monday morning, right? That was all.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
That
much,
was when it was announced.
It would have been a Thursday or something when they had. And then they negotiate the severance and all that kind of stuff, right? But it was definitely announced on Monday morning, and that's what we were going by.
Yeah.
And the other, so the text message didn't go through thing is a good meme that's going around. And the other one, when I announced it I got a couple of replies on Threads saying this, and then bloody Howie, one of my moderators, said it as well. But I saw it first somewhere else, so I don't give Howie any credit. And I did use this on the Today Show. I said, I was doing a thing with Dee Madigan. So Dee was there talking about the reputation stuff, and then I was there talking about whatever I was.
Yep.
And they wrapping the segment up real quick. And I thought, I'm just going to butt in here. And I got Carla Beauty. I go, Carl, just so you know, my information is her severance package includes 200 gigabytes of data. And I use that on a lot of radio stations, and on the Today it gets a good response.
I actually, where did I see? I saw a comment on that on one of the stories.
Yeah,
but,
it's good.
Yeah, she might get a terabyte. You never know.
She gets unlimited data for the next 6 weekends. Good luck to you, Kelly.
Yeah, but. Look, I thought, and I said this on the radio. I was on with Michael McLaren on 2GB on Sunday after the inquiry.
Yes.
And we both agreed
she did well.
I thought she handled herself very well.
Yes. And
she explained everything really well. She patiently explained to Senator Hanson-Young that you can't just roam to another network.
Yes.
And that would collapse that network too.
Yes.
She handled all the questions about the timeline as well.
Yep.
We got a bit of an understanding of like why. My question was why. It happened at 4 a.m., right?
Yep.
It said that she woke up at about just after 7 and found out, my phone's not working.
Yeah.
Is something wrong? We also found out that she had a spare SIM card. She had a Vodafone and a Telstra SIM in case.
Which all executives at telcos do have. We now know that from the other telcos.
And so my two questions are, A, should there have been a level of emergency to wake up the CEO?
Yes.
Right? Number one. Number two, why did she do the interview on ABC Radio on WhatsApp? Why didn't she just ring them?
With the other SIM.
Yeah.
She never used it.
Was she worried that they were going to ask her, well, how are you contacting us now if Optus is down?
That is a good point.
She might have said, I'm on Telstra.
That is a good point.
Maybe that
would have been embarrassing.
Yeah. So
that's a very good point.
Do you reckon the interviewer would have even had an idea that she was on another SIM card, or she was ringing from a landline, or the landline would have been an Optus landline anyway?
Yeah, it would have been tough to avoid.
I reckon that's why.
That
so she didn't. I'm ringing you on WhatsApp.
I'll pay that. But here's the thing. So you're right. We found out, the time she woke up basically. And she lives in the eastern suburbs, so I think she woke up at 6:30 probably.
Yeah,
because
she was
got
in the
to
office by
7:30.
She had a crisis meeting between 7:45 and 8:30. Short crisis meeting. 45 minutes.
She called the crisis meeting at 7:45. Right. So she got to the office and immediately called that. Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Rewind, as you say. It's 4:00. The network is out.
Yeah.
By 4:30,
by 3.5 hours in now.
By 4:30. there's got to be some serious tension in the network operations center, and there's got to be senior network engineers called. By 5 o'clock, they've got to know that this thing's out of control and not easy to fix.
Yeah.
So by 5:30, someone should have been banging on her front door.
Yeah, I agree.
But avoiding that, every telco executive, and Telstra confirmed this to me in a briefing, have a Go pack, like a pack of other SIM cards from other networks. But that's utterly stupid in this day and age. What Kelly Bayer Rasmarin, doesn't need now, but every CEO should have is their phone with their SIM card from their network. And then an eSIM that is active and turned on for the other networks. Yeah. And there's an emergency call number for the CEO and her emergency number. CEO's number doesn't work because it's on Optus. Emergency call number, her phone would have rung.
Yeah.
Optus or Vodafone or Telstra, her phone would have rung.
So,
they could have woken her up on the phone.
They could have called her, yeah.
Doesn't matter because it doesn't matter that, and this is the problem is in their mindset, and I'm confident in her mindset, they would have thought, but if you're asked by the media or a senator, how were you woken up?
Yeah.
And you said, they called me and they say, but your phones were down. You'd say, we have alternate SIM cards. And then, the joke is that you only got called but it doesn't matter. You would have been 3 hours ahead of the pack.
But even the fact that she had alternative SIM cards, right, that didn't tweak. She didn't twig that if she can't call, her customers can't call or look at the internet either. Yeah. And yet Optus insisted that we've put up notices up on social media and on our internet on our webpage.
She did well at the Senate, we both agree, but where she failed at the Senate was to properly answer anything about communication. She struggled to accept, and I don't know who the senator was, but I sensed she was Liberal because she did not give good glares to Sarah Hanson-Young. She was annoyed that Sarah Hanson-Young kept bumping.
Well, she was the chair. She was chair.
Yeah, but she would just come in on someone else's questions. It's like, hang on, love, I'm not finished.
Yeah.
Anyway, this lady was asking about the communications plan, the strategy, and all that stuff, and she basically said, "We did great. We did what we did last time," and it's like that was the problem.
Yeah. Well, that again. It beggars belief that you don't think that the fact that she took days to talk before, she would have thought, hang on, I can't do that again. I've got to get in early here. And that still didn't register.
Yeah.
Do you reckon if she had have come out on the morning shows, on breakfast shows, and was speaking about the whole thing frankly and openly, that she would still have a job now? You reckon?
100%.
Yeah.
She didn't lose her job because the network failed.
Yeah.
She lost her job because the company failed at handling it and communicating it.
Fair enough.
Because
it's not her fault, hey? The outage is not her. If anyone should resign, if it's someone's fault or more at fault, it's an engineer.
That's right.
So they'd be thinking, has that person resigned?
And I've been saying all week, I actually have no doubt that she's a great business leader.
Yeah.
Probably a great CEO in running the business. And maybe she's an awesome internal leader as well and a people manager. But she's no good at communicating with her customers. And her customers, or main stakeholders, are the 10 million customers out there.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
So that's why she lost her job.
Yeah.
So who gets the job?
And so you reckon, who gets the job? Well, who's in there now? Is the CFO?
Let's just call it the CFO. They won't get the job.
Yeah, that's just interim.
That's just an interim thing because they can run the business.
The talk is about Gladys,
mate.
I think she's at long odds to get this because I think someone commented on TV to say that she's already been involved in a scandal. Remember, she went to ICAC.
Yeah.
I don't consider that. It's not like she was sort of stealing money and was corrupt.
We're both aligned on our opinions of Gladys, both politically and post ICAC. I don't see her involvement with Darryl Williams or whatever his bloody name was as being actually corruption. I get that by the pure definition, it is.
She's appealing it, by the way, too. She's got those
before the courts. Yeah. But I genuinely don't think what happened was the end of the world.
No,
it's not just like I don't think Barry O'Farrell accepting a bottle of wine is the end of the world either. But by the letter of the law, he did the right thing. So she's in the media as the potential CEO because they've got no one else to suggest.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
that's why I think she's become the darling of the speculation because she was so visible before as premier.
Could she run a business? I don't know.
She ran a state,
and she was treasurer.
Exactly.
So that's what gives her the credibility and potential.
She's got the credentials to do it.
Because what the company needs is a figurehead. They need a public figure.
I think
public face of the business.
They need someone, and look, Gladys would fill this role. They need someone that's going to repair the damage.
Yep.
Right? But then bring them forward and endear themselves to the customers again.
Yep.
And you bring in some executive that no one's ever heard of, that's going to be a hard job to do.
Yeah.
So whether Optus think, well, this is probably the best solution for us is to bring a familiar face. Most people trust her. They loved her when she was premier.
Yeah.
Is she the person to steer them through the next couple of years where they're in sort of damage control, repairing the brand?
I'd only put money on her if she was paying $5 or more. But I'm tipping if there was odds, she's probably paying $1.20 because everyone would think she's a certainty for it.
Yeah.
But, she's on my list, but, I wouldn't put her at the top of it.
You've already suggested people that could possibly take
think
it.
of Bill Morrow.
Yeah.
The bloke
who used to be a boss of
the
Vodafone.
bloke came into Vodafone after it had problems and got that back.
Yeah.
The bloke came into NBN after it had problems and got that back.
He's the Ray Donovan of technology, isn't he? He's
what
the
I'm
fixer.
saying. He's the fixer.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That makes perfect sense to me.
So you reckon he's an option, eh?
I think he's a great option.
Yeah.
He's
so
a
where is
brilliant
he now?
option.
I've
got no idea.
work for now?
Probably in the US somewhere.
Right.
But, he's a telco guy as well,
Yeah,
so he
of
knows
course.
the business.
Yeah.
Benny McIntosh, who we know from Vodafone days, he's now at Bunnings, the COO.
Yep.
I think he's a good option because he knows telco, he knows customers, he knows retail.
Yep.
Good option. I think Gary McGregor's a great option.
Yeah. Former Samsung. Yeah.
Mate, he led the Samsung mobile business in Australia. Now, does he know towers and networks? But who cares? Lambo, the bloke that was sitting there at the Senate, knows towers and
That's
business.
his job. Yeah, exactly right.
So I think good option. The other two that I suggested were like Pip Marlowe and Mel Silver, the former boss of Microsoft and the current boss of
Mel Silver. She's left Google, eh?
No, she's at Google.
She's still Google.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And who was the other one? Pip
Marlowe. She was at Microsoft. Now she's at Salesforce.
Yeah, right.
Mate, there's a bunch of people.
Wow.
And see, my problem
the
is
headhunters are out in force
they
right now.
say we're going to have a global search. Mate, do not bring someone from overseas to run this company. Because here's the thing.
Yeah. You got to have a feel for the place, don't you?
I reckon, genuinely, Optus could be much bigger than it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember which CEO it was, but I'm going to say 8 years ago, maybe, something like that. They invited me to Optus and they wanted me to meet this CEO. And we just sat down in the courtyard for a quick, shaking of hands.
Was he because the CEO before Kelly Bay Rosemary was the Singaporean guy?
No, it was whoever before that.
Oh, right. So 2 CEOs ago.
Anyway, the point is they said to me at the time,
I want to Google history of
where
the
do you
CEOs.
see Optus in the market?
Yep.
And I said, well, I think it's very simple. Everyone has this respect for Telstra as a network.
Yep.
I said Vodafone is coming strongly out of their problems, but they still sit third in people's choice and mind. Okay. And Optus is this neutral nothingness in the middle.
Okay.
And I think that's where they sit. But I think they could be so much more because they're a big network. They're a big business. They've got the Optus Sports stuff. They could be so much more. I genuinely think that.
I agree.
But you can't bring a Singaporean or an American or someone who doesn't know Australia and Australians.
Paul O'Sullivan?
Yes.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah. So, I've just Googled a list of Optus CEOs and Kelly Bay Rosemary was the top hit.
Oh, there you go.
Hello, Google.
So what does Stephen Fennick do when he's appointed CEO in the first 100 days?
I would, you know what? I would do like a, you know how like there's a presidential address? You know how the president does an address?
Yeah.
I would book like 2 minutes of TV during the 6 o'clock news hour.
Yeah.
And say, okay, we've had our problems in the past, and we understand that a lot of people have left the business, and here's our plan for the future.
Yeah.
That's how I'd introduce the whole plan.
Are there any points you've got on that plan?
Well, making obviously the network bulletproof, making the network reliable, making sure that an outage of this scale doesn't happen again, because it was the biggest outage of all time in Australia.
Right, yeah.
So
despite the fact that Kelly Bay Rosemary subtly in other newspapers had to dig at me for saying that, like it didn't. Yeah. It is. It's the biggest.
She's got it in for Trev.
Sorry, love. It was the biggest.
Yeah.
On your watch.
That's what I would address to. I would try to instill sort of a feeling of confidence to
100%.
say, listen, we've got your best interests at heart. We want you to trust us, to rely on us, to run your business through us. We know we've made our mistakes in the past. We haven't been as communicative as we could have been. I just lay it all on the line. and say this is how we're going to move forward. We're going to offer some great deals to win back customers. We're going to improve the network so you can use our Optus in all parts of Australia. There's talk of them using satellite service to have 100% coverage in Australia. So I'd be listing all the exciting things that are coming and saying we're going to be the best network in Australia. I think that's what our goal is.
I think the number one thing you do is you say to the Singtel board, you say, listen, you got to start letting us think like Australians.
Yeah.
And we need to spend some money on that.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, what? So one of the things I'd say is we're going to bring all of our customer service onshore, which Telstra's already done.
Exactly. Good point. Good point.
And then basically you need to reiterate, whether it's in that address or just generally, you need to reiterate, as Kelly did at the Senate.
Yeah,
this will happen again. These outages are not. They will happen.
And she did make a very good point about. Remember how I was saying about compensation, and she was saying, well, if your power goes out,
no, that was
and
her best.
And the water goes out, like, do you ring the power company to say I couldn't run my business because I had no power?
Yeah.
So like essential services. That was a very good point. And how she made it was very interesting.
And you'd have some. You know what? You did have someone working on, and this is going to sound crazy, but you would resell Telstra or Vodafone products to those, like a network critical business that uses it for their FPOS machine or something.
Yeah.
You would sell them a backup SIM.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd do a deal with Vodafone.
You're selling someone else's.
So no, but see, here's the thing. The problem is the networks can't and won't do a proper roaming deal that says it all fails over and stuff because it's just technically challenging, right?
Yeah, it's very hard.
But imagine between them, two telcos, let's say Optus and Vodafone, came to a commercial agreement to say, listen, we're gonna buy off you. I'm Optus, you're Vodafone. I'm gonna buy off you 100,000 SIM cards.
Yep.
I'm gonna pay you $20 a year for them, right? And I guarantee.
If they're ever activated, then they pay for that service.
Yeah, I pay through the nose for the data and the calls when they get used, right?
Yep.
And then I supply them to customers for a $50 a year, something. So I make $30.
So like a backup.
But it's a backup, and it doesn't activate. They don't know what number it is. They don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You just find a way to have
a data SIM.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just find a way to have some sort of redundancy for critical businesses.
It's funny you should mention that because I remember hearing from a lot of readers reacting to this, and a lot of them saying that we on purpose don't bundle all our service with one company.
That's the number one
so
learning.
a lot of people say, well, I have Telstra for phone, Optus for internet, and vice versa.
Yep.
So if you're Optus all day, then on November the 8th, you had nothing.
Yeah.
And so and I know it's attractive to customers to bundle, like if companies want you to have your mobile and your internet, and that makes it cheaper for you. But in the unlikely event of a outage, then you're completely stranded.
Yeah.
So I found that really interesting that people actually do that.
Yeah, it's the number one piece of advice now is don't bundle if it's mission critical.
Well,
and I think that every business should learn from the redundant SIM concept.
Yeah.
And look at the idea of, and I had a caller this week on the EFTM podcast say that what he does is he gets like maybe it was an Aldi SIM, because that's the best thing to do. Go to Aldi, get a SIM card.
Who uses Telstra?
You pay $15. It's a 365-day SIM.
Yep.
You only pay, or you only chunk into that $15 if you make calls on it or use data.
Yep.
You never make a call on it, but you but it's a phone number in your eSIM. It's working. It's active. You could give it to your IT team, your management team as a backup number, and they can call you on it. And it's a 24/7 number that works.
Makes sense.
But only works if they can't get you on the main line and it's a critical emergency.
I think now moving forward, Optus would be thinking of these contingency plans now. As I reckon,
as
other
would Telstra and Vodafone.
Well, it was revealed that the Telstra CEO carries an Optus and Vodafone SIM just in case as well.
That's right.
As would the Vodafone CEO.
As do Vodafone, yeah.
So it's kind of
it's not just the CEO, it's the upper management team.
Sort of the upper management team. Yeah, wow. So it was there was a huge. The inquiry only lasted a couple of hours too.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Yeah.
So the other thing I think they had their network guy talking about was his name Lambo was talking about how the system was actually the outage was an act of defence. He was saying that the peering update that came from Singtel, that tripped all the routers. That was a defence mechanism. That's why they shut down.
Yeah.
But in the 2 weeks since it's happened, how much can they change and adjust so that this would never take
They
all
did
the whole
have
network
way
down.
too much confidence that it was fixed and wouldn't happen again.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was pretty instant.
So you reckon they...
Feels like something they just failed to set up properly.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, bye, Kelly.
Yeah.
See ya.
And just for the record, I let Trevor off his bet. So he owes me $100.
No, I do not owe you $100. You've let me off.
Yeah, I've let you off. But if I had held you to it, you would have had to pay me $100.
I understand
but
that is true.
Graciously said, no, Trev, you're off the hook. Okay? It's because I reckon Kelly heard our podcast and deliberately waited till Monday so that Trevor lost his bet.
I'd so love that to be true.
That's why. He's thinking, Trevor, I'll cost him
confident.
$100.
I'm pretty confident she's never heard anything we've said. Because the people around her, who also should go, are just gatekeepers.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's half the reason she was a poor CEO, because the people around her were not telling her to do the right thing.
You want to surround yourself by geniuses. If I was the boss of Optus, I'd have the geniuses around me to help me make the decisions. And a decision would be up to me, but I'd want the best advice.
Mate, I would recruit.
What would you do? You've asked me. What would you do?
Well, no, I said broadly. I said I'd have the customer service brought on shore because it's a big win for Australians.
Would you do the national address? I reckon that'd be dramatic. It would be dramatic and say, right, this is us.
Mate,
Listen.
we're paying. Here's the thing. I'm the Optus CEO. First thing I do, first order of business is find out how much we're paying Daniel Ricciardo. And then I say, $10 million? Daniel's going to be the face of this company, okay? And Daniel is going to do the national address.
And where's Ash Barty? Where'd she go? Is she on the books too?
She's the chief optimism or something. I don't know.
Where was she?
Yeah. That's the point, though.
Well, she just had a baby, but is she on maternity leave? Is she on maternity leave? Or? But isn't she like an Optus ambassador?
Yes.
Like Daniel Ricciardo, Ash Barty, who else? Have they got any others?
Well, they meet me, Daniel and Ash. I'm the CEO.
Okay, that's right.
Me, Daniel and Ash.
Yep.
We stand there and go, you know what? You've lost confidence in us, but we're going to bring it back. Just like he got back and she gave up. No, she didn't go up. She just had a baby. I don't know. You'll have to work on the wording.
Yeah. Maybe have to run that through the comms team, mate.
We convince Ash to make a comeback at the Australian Open and we say, look at us, comeback kings.
We can make it back.
Daniel Ricciardo back in the chair. Yeah. Ash back on court and we're back in your court.
This is gold. That's gold.
Hey?
That's a good idea. Imagine Ash saying, you know what? I'm making a comeback. I'm going to play in the Australian Open.
I had a little network outage and I'm back.
Yeah. And what about Daniel? Who does he drive for there?
He drives for AlphaTauri.
Okay. Oh, he's back next year, next season.
He's back now, yeah.
He's a driver?
Yes.
I said, but
have you not been following? He was at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which you watched.
Okay, I did watch it actually, but he was back in the field, was he?
He was 14.
Way back, yeah. Okay. That was I enjoyed the race.
It was a good race.
Yeah, it was good. We'll talk about that on the private, eh? We'll talk about the F1.
Anyway, if you're listening, Singtel, we've got all the answers.
Yeah, just ask us. Yeah,
we can tell you.
We'll give you this for nothing.
We can tell you who else needs to go.
Really?
I've got one very solid name.
Oh, okay. I think I know.
Yeah,
who
you know who it is. Yeah. And just for the record, for the Optus PR team, it's not anyone I've had physical, verbal, or written conversations with at all in the last 2 weeks. It's someone who hasn't spoken to me since the data breach.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm happy to hand over that name.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Two Blokes Talking Tech.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
I don't hold grudges.
Two Blokes Talking Tech. No, I don't hold grudges much. Two Blokes Talking Tech, proudly supported by Arlo. And you know what? You've got to get in on the Arlo Black Friday sales, up to 35% off. So get into that. You're talking the Arlo Pro 5, which is one of their top of the lines, $299, now under $300.
Now, I saw all these deals at techguy.com.au. The one that appealed to me most, the simple one, the indoor security.
Yeah.
$99.
How good's that?
For a bloody
indoor
security
camera. And I think the outdoor one is it a $159 still? Is that down as well?
Well, the doorbell's $169.
Doorbell's $169. That used to be $229.
That's wild.
How good's that? Great time to be getting into this because these Black Friday sales are awesome. So the Ultra 2 Spotlight Wireless, that's down. That's under $639. That's 20% off. But the Arlo Essentials, that's 30% off. So it's $209. the Arlo Essentials. And if you're buying a multi-pack too,
this is where you see
this
the
is where you
value.
save a lot of money. So the Arlo Ultra 2, there's a 3-pack that's $879, and you get a base station with that as well.
Yeah.
But the indoor, I agree, $99. How can you go wrong with that?
Listen, I don't know why they're saying up to 35%, because if you look hard enough, Arlo Pro 4 Spotlight, right?
Yep.
It's a multi-pack. It's a 4-pack.
Yep.
$749, 42% saving.
That is amazing.
Are you kidding me?
Is it 42%? Because it's set up to 35%.
That's
So
what I'm
they've actually
saying.
gone
If you go
over.
to their website,
Wow.
it right now
Ultra-
says
oh, wow.
Arlo Pro 4 Spotlight Wireless
42%.
4-pack.
That's nearly half price.
42%. That's
nearly half
wild.
price. But you know what, too? If you've already got your Arlo cameras,
This is it.
get some accessories. Get
Yeah.
some batteries. The batteries are 30% off. So the XL rechargeable battery, normally $89, $62.
Solar panel, $83, 30% off.
So that way you don't have to charge the battery.
Let's
It's out
go.
there.
Well
That's
done.
awesome. So, yeah, check out the savings. You can check them out at their website, arlo.com.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech with Trevor Long and Stephen Fennick.
I got a letter from Gina Reinhardt.
Did you now?
It was actually addressed to Mark Zuckerberg, but it came across my desk. And it was interesting because Gina Reinhardt, Hancock Prospecting, why is she writing to Mark Zuckerberg? Well, let me read it to you in part.
Is she really Australia's richest person?
Yes.
She's richer than Andrew Twiggy
Yes.
Forrest?
Yes.
Right. What is it with the mining, man? Mining's where the money is, isn't it?
I haven't checked, but, Twiggy and his wife separated, so perhaps their fortunes divided now.
Okay.
Don't know. Don't want to get involved, Twigs,
Okay.
but wouldn't mind some new RMs. Or at least
Because
he
he bought
polished.
RM wares.
Yeah, and a Cobra.
I see, I'm with it.
Bought a Cobra this week.
And a Cobra as well. He's buying them all, snapping them up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dear Mr. Zuckerberg, it says, scam advertisements and content on your platform. I write to you on behalf of private companies and myself. Yada, yada, yada. Across Meta, numerous scammers have falsely used the names of prominent Australians such as Harry Triguboff, Dick Smith and me in an effort to fraudulently solicit money from vulnerable people. These scams, she goes on. But bottom line, she says, in the last few weeks, I have had more than 750 scams on Facebook as opposed to only one on Twitter in the same time period. Hence, I'd appreciate more efforts taken in attempting to address these issues. Greater action is needed. Scam Awareness Week's coming up. She goes into financial losses that Australians are getting overall. And she talks about specific people, like a pensioner in Queensland who lost $150,000 from her retirement, an Aussie that lost $40,000 because of a job scam on Facebook, and others where $650,000 to celebrity crypto scams. So basically, there's one line here that sums it up. Meta needs to do more. Now, I got a list from her people of screenshots, but it also had 4 links in it to Facebook ads.
Yep.
Now, one of them had disappeared. 3 others were still running. Now, this was on, I'm going to say Monday night, Tuesday I got this. Now, as of like 2 days ago or another day ago, 2 of them had been taken down, one of them still running. And get this, that ad, because you can see all this information on Facebook, that ad has been running since January this year. And, mate, I'm telling you,
You don't reckon they know it's a scam by
obvious
now?
scam.
Come on.
It's an obvious scam.
It absolutely I'm stunned that they're not doing more because they so easily can do it. I'll take your mind back to, was it 2020, February 2020, when they took every news site down off Facebook.
Don't get me started.
At the stroke of a key, they
People
could go,
will remember my thumbnail.
and they also too, like, they can detect things like nudity and hate speech, and can get rid of it off the platform in an instant. So why the hell is it taking so long for them to act to remove what are obviously scam ads?
Well, the first thing you can say is they're making money.
Well, mate, that to me, that equals it's almost corruption that they're letting these, what they know to be, like, if it's been there since January, I'm pretty sure they know that it's not legit.
It's been reported by Gina's team at least.
So leaving it on the platform is like leaving a trap for your users.
Yeah.
And people who use Facebook, that's their world. They see something on Facebook and they think, well, it must be legit. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they click the link and guess what? Scam.
Yep.
Same thing with Google. I wrote a story weeks ago about how Google a lot of their ads are scams as well. You know, when you do a Google search and the ads on the side, some of those ads are scams as well. Like they're knocking back millions of ads, so they know it's an issue, but they just can't keep up with the sheer number. Meta, I reckon, is a different story. I reckon they can probably, because they're not a search engine, they're a platform, they can probably filter out those ads a lot easier than Google can.
You would think so. Now, before I tell you how this, and by the way, the ad's still running. Right now, still running. Started running on January 24, and here's the ad. The ad is by a page called Like Rule. Like, what is that? Yeah. Australia's richest person, Gina Rinehart, revealed how she constantly increases her income without spending any money or her time. Gina Rinehart revealed she's a user of a unique software which allows Australian citizens, and then there's a video of Tracy Grimshaw interviewing Gina about this. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's so bad.
It is blatant.
Now, I reached out to Meta and said, what the hell are you? I need a statement. I need to know what's happening. Their statement, I'll read it verbatim. Scammers present a challenge in any environment, including social media. Meta is constantly tackling scams through a combination of technology such as new machine learning techniques and specially trained reviewers to identify content and accounts that violate our policies. We encourage people to use our in-app reporting tools when they see suspicious activity. We encourage those who've fallen victim to scams to reach out to their local law enforcement agency. Come on.
Come on. So in other words, you do the work.
Yeah.
In other words, it's up to you to do the work.
Isn't that the worst thing you could possibly
say? They should be more proactive than reactive in this thing. Yeah.
We've been Optus CEO. Now I'll be Facebook CEO, right?
Okay, Zuck, yep.
Listen, this is real simple, folks. We're copping a lot of heat. And firstly, I need to know how much money we're making from this, and then so I can tell the board. But bottom line, here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up a register. And any person in the world, certainly high profile, but anyone can come in and they can register themselves by verifying their ID. Now, basically, it's a verified Facebook account. You've got to show your passport, your driver's license, whatever. You've got to prove who you are and that your face on your profile is you. Face. You see my face.
Yes.
And we will, from this point on, we will let you know if any advertisement is placed on our platform that has your face in it. We know they know how to match faces because they do it with friend requests. And if I put a photo up of you, it'll say, do you want to tag Stephen Fennick? Like it knows, they know how to match faces.
Yeah, but in this case, they're using high profile.
Yeah,
people.
So Gina Rinehart could then log on and go, and her people, her team could log on and go, we are Gina Rinehart. We want to be advised, tick a box. We want to be advised whenever my face or name is used in an advertisement.
Yeah, that would work.
She would get a pop up. And now let's say you're an influencer and you do ads. So I'd get a request saying, you've appeared in this ad. Do you endorse
Is this really you? Yeah.
Yes, I do. Let it go. Let it go through. Because I'm telling you right now,
two-factor authentication.
That would stop the BS that's going on with this Infinity Games table for me.
Yeah.
If someone puts that ad up, and I reported one of those, there was 50 instances of that same video on one page.
Wow.
One page running 50 ads with my video in it. It's the same as.
Trevor's involved.
The other part of it is you would have this kind of person recognition, and then you would have content matching. Now, this is what YouTube does. If you upload...
This is making too much sense, Trev.
If you upload to YouTube a copy of a song or a movie...
they flag it straight up.
It flags before it finishes processing.
Yeah.
Because someone else has said... Someone else, like the movie company, has uploaded the video and said, this is ours.
That's our property, yeah.
So I want to be able to upload my Infinity Games table review to Facebook in the back end and say, this is my video. I made it. I own it. You can see my face in it. Click. And then whenever that video appears in an ad or is used and uploaded online, it's banned.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Gina Rinehart isn't the Lone Ranger here too, because Andrew Forrest is also... He's got a case... He's taken them to court. Yeah. That's still going on. That I think it's been adjourned, but it's still going on. The whole... He's recognised this before Gina Rinehart has.
Yeah.
And you've seen other celebrities are the same. Yeah. They get caught up in this.
Carl, Tracy Grimshaw.
Why can't say that is that almost like defamation? So say Carl, we'll use Carl as the example. Can he turn around and say, well, on your platform, you're using my likeness to scam people.
Yeah.
And that's against my good name.
And they're the publisher, aren't they?
Yeah. So it'd be like me publishing a magazine, say I'm the publisher of the magazine, and I rip off an ad that you're in and say, without your permission, and say, oh, Trevor Long's endorsing this, you'd be able to sue me, being the publisher. Because say, hang on, that's not me, and that's sort of going against my good character. So Isn't that like an avenue that they can explore? Like
Maybe
it's almost
is.
defamation?
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
But, I think...
Yeah.
So the example I've been giving all week, and I've done a bit of research into this, and I may not be fully understanding it, but I think that the TV and radio stations are held to a higher account when it comes to advertising. The Advertising Standards Bureau, and I've read a lot about this week, I actually don't think it has guidelines around false advertising.
Yeah.
It's more about alcohol, gambling, and nudity, right?
Yeah.
But here's my point. If I'm Channel 9 and someone says to me, here's 50 grand, I want to run 4 ads in the nightly news, if that's the rate, I don't know what it is. And they go, cool, send us a tape. And they send the tape.
Yep.
And we just put the tape in the machine and it plays out, not looking at it first.
Yes.
And that ad says, how good's gambling? You never lose. And here's some boobs. And then, here's a minority that we're going to abuse, right? 3 things that should have you absolutely banned, right?
Yep.
Who's responsible for that? Is it the advertiser or Channel 9?
It's Channel 9. Channel 9 should have vetted.
So how is Facebook
exactly.
not responsible for
I know,
these
mate.
scams?
It's all care, no responsibility. It's like when... Do you remember when they offered the verified accounts? You get a verified account.
Yeah.
And when you get verified, you then have access to like a help desk if something happens.
And they proactively prevent fake versions of your account.
There you go. And... Mate, I've tried. Remember that you said before, report it to the community. Make a report.
Yep.
Mate, there have been how many times Tech Guide's been impersonated.
Yeah.
My photo was on that false account.
Yeah.
I said that's my picture, and I reported it, and they said, well, no, they don't have a case to
Doesn't breach
answer.
our
Doesn't breach
policies.
community guidelines.
Doesn't breach our policies.
I'm thinking, hello,
What
are you joking?
policy?
Like it's absolutely, and the only reason I got those pages down is because I know someone at Meta.
Well, and I'm saying, let's be clear, Meta's the biggest problem here, but it should be all social media. So I'm calling for all social media to be regulated by the government in terms of advertising.
I agree.
Because
this is an ACCC job from start to finish. Why can't the ACCC step in here?
Every day I get another message from someone saying, I bought the Infinity Games table and it hasn't arrived. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but unless you pay $2,000, it's never going to arrive.
So,
and every day I get sent another TikTok video. Now, I've reported them, and originally when I sent it to my contact at TikTok, they go, fill in this form. And it was a crazy long form. I had to prove it was my video. I no longer do that. I now send it to them and go, get this down. Get this down. And I send it over and over again.
Yeah.
And they do. But that's me. I've got a contact there. The average Joe reporting videos, they don't get taken down.
Would you agree that's sort of hitting your reputation?
Yes.
So,
Mate,
you should have a case then.
I don't want to... This sounds so egotistical, but it's horrible that people are falling victim. They think I'm selling them $100 bloody games table.
It's true, mate. In fact, one of my friends contacted me saying, look, I saw Trevor on this thing. Is that legit? I said, no, mate. Unless it's worth $2,000, it's not. Like, it's worth $200.
Mate, it's
or $100.
horrible.
Yeah.
It's a horrible
and
feeling.
So
a lovely
people,
old bloke emailed me in, and I
Yeah.
said, what did you get? He said, I bought 2, one for each of my grandkids. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
So he's just giving his money away.
$200.
They're not going
gone.
to receive anything.
No.
Yeah, jeez. Look how, and even TikTok with their rules and regulations too. Why can't they have a case against? Why can't they, like the people who put these videos up, have an account?
Yes.
So they could communicate with them. If you could say, okay, well, this account ABCD123, I bought in good faith something from them in good faith.
You know what I'm going to do?
What the hell?
I'm going to send an email tomorrow to my contact and say, I demand that you hand over the contact details of that account. Yeah. Because here's the thing, you can't even on an ad account. Because
privacy, they can't give it to you.
But wait, on an ad account, you can't even view the account handle. You can't even see an account.
Oh, really?
It's just an ad. It's an advertiser account.
But I'm going to say, they're banking the checks, but
I'm going to say,
TikTok.
I demand you hand over their information because I want to take legal action. And if you don't, I will take legal action against you.
Boom.
Now, I don't have a lawyer.
I know a couple.
I also don't have any money for lawyers.
Pro bono. It'd be pro bono work. No win, no win, no...
So I call
no,
Bridens. I might call Hadley. Maybe he could get me hooked up with Bridens.
Hey, mate, but you know what? Someone's got to... I'm surprised the ACCC hasn't stepped in sooner than this.
Because
someone's got to take a stand.
Because you know what happens when you get a legal letter? You shit yourself.
Of course.
Right? I did this story. I think I might have mentioned this. I did this story.
How many legal letters have you received, mate?
This was the worst.
Okay.
I did a story with Lara Vella on the Today Show about scams, in fact. How do people fall for them? Yep. She said, I want to reenact it. I went, okay, cool. So I got a mate of mine who used to run Candela Computing with me. Now lives in Perth. He's good at coding and stuff. So I got him to code up a website that looked like Facebook, like the Facebook login page.
Okay.
And then I registered a domain name called facebooksecurity.live or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And we pointed that to there. And then I set up an email account with that domain name, and I sent Lara an email that looked for all intents and purposes like Facebook. You know, there's a problem with your account. Click here. Click here. Log in. And while I was sitting here, she was sitting there. She typed a password. I said, your password's Suzanne123 or whatever it was. She goes, oh my God. Like, it was wild. It was a really good story.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that. I got like a manila envelope letter in the mail.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what's this? It was 3 legal letters about, because it actually got flagged as scam, and then I registered another domain because the internet's so good it worked out it was a scam. So Facebook was suing me because I had these domains that were like theirs. I shit myself, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm on the phone, I'm emailing these people going, oh, this is a story. I had to find a copy of the story. In the end, I handed over the names. I just handed over ownership of the names to them.
Yeah, right.
But it scared the bejesus out of me.
Of course it does, mate.
Now, I don't know, are these scammers going to care if they get legal letters? Am I going to be able to get to them? I don't know, but it's so annoying.
I don't think so, but there's got to be accountability. Accountability. We live in a world now where everyone's connected. We can find out anything.
Yeah.
How the hell these people can hide and not be brought to account? It's like when the bank will tell you if you say I transfer money to you and it's a scam.
Yep.
I say, well, I've got his account number. Get him.
Yeah.
And they go, we can't, privacy.
Yeah.
Go, what do you mean? If someone in the street just took my wallet out of my pocket and ran away, I'll say, there he is, get him.
Yeah.
The police could say, right, you're under arrest. And so there's no privacy. Where's the privacy issue there?
Yeah.
So it's these stupid laws, these stupid little things that the criminals are taking advantage of, hiding behind, that's causing all this.
And
remove the barriers, remove the hiding places.
I'm with you. It's tantamount to what do you call it, corruption, or it's tantamount to corruption.
Mate, they're copping dirty. It's dirty money.
They're an accessory in this. They're an accessory to the scam.
Mate, I'm telling you now, they're making massive money out of the ads.
I said to the people we know at Meta, when I was trying to get these videos taken down flagged, I said, I want to know how much money you've made out of that, because there was only one page I was targeting, right? Wait, here's what I said. I want to know how much you made, and I want you to guarantee that you will let me spend that much of your money just boosting a video that tells people about this scam. Because that's the only I don't want money. I want people who know me to know that I didn't endorse that, and that they should be aware of these scams. It's an awareness thing. Okay. That's what should be happening. The same amount of money should be spent on advising people. And this is sad, right? The Gina Reinhart ones, honestly, they're horrible scams. Like the Infinity Games table thing is so well done because they use you should have this at Christmas and it's great. They just cut out the price. That's all they do. It's my video. It's just it's a excited video about a product, right? The Gina Reinhart ones, mate, honestly, who's falling for an investment scheme? It's people who are probably at their lows and actually do need to make money or are struggling, and they're handing over their life bloody savings.
Yeah, it's ridiculous,
It's sad.
You know, and if a victim should have some recourse. A victim should say, well, I want to take you to court, or I want to get my money back, or something. There should be something for them. You know, we're talking their profits are like in the tens of billions of dollars a year.
Yep.
So, and mate, I'm telling you now, the reason what did you say that ad was still there since January?
January 24th.
It's now November.
Yes.
So you don't reckon they're making a ton of money off that ad?
That's right.
They're probably, that scam company's probably boosting the crap out of that ad, right? Spending big money themselves, and Facebook's making the money. And they're profiting from someone else's crime. It's exactly that. Someone's committing a crime, and Facebook is profiting from crime, which isn't that illegal? You can't profit from crime.
Well, I think the issue and Facebook's defense would be like, there's no crime been proven. So this is the problem, right? It's as you say, they're hiding behind the fact that they can't be found. Yeah, these people could be in Uzbekistan. No one knows.
Right. You know, it's honestly, there needs to be like an international internet body that can shine the light in these dark corners where these criminals are hiding and say, right, game's up. Yeah. Nowhere to hide. That'd sort them out.
It would. Anyway, that's enough from us. But seriously, Facebook needs to do something, and all social medias need to do something. And frankly, you know what? It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But I'm sticking with this, mate, as long as it takes, because I think the government needs to intervene.
Yeah, and your name's being dragged through the mud a bit. Don't you reckon?
Yeah.
Your name, you being associated with this,
you know what the thing is
hurting you.
Right now, no. But as Christmas approaches, when people are expecting that bloody games table, they're all going to be at me going, hey, what happened?
Well, my friend said to me, he goes, that thing that Trevor Long's promoting. He said, I said, no, mate, that's not real. This, back off.
Honestly, so frustrating. Yeah. Anyway, two blokes talking tech.
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
And there's plenty of deals to be found at Netgear as well. Netgear.com.au. You can find a bunch of deals for Black Friday. 20% discounts on Orbi systems. Savings up to $500 on the 850 series. So there are some cracking deals
for Black Friday,
mate. The Orbi is cheap for Black Friday. Right now's the time to crack in.
Get into that one.
The Orbi 860. Yeah, we're talking $500 off, which is a great value. And you know what? This is the thing. An Orbi is going to improve your home Wi-Fi network. It's going to give you that reliability of internet across the home. Every corner of the home's got Wi-Fi. Your TV has to have as good a Wi-Fi as your mobile phone does in bed when you're scrolling through TikTok before you go to sleep.
Quick story. I got an email from a reader saying, look, I've got an extender in my front room. It's not working very well. The modem is 100 metres away.
Oh, mate, please.
He must live in a big house. I said, you know what you need, mate? Forget that extender. It's too close to, you need to be sort of halfway between. I tried to explain that. I said, look, you know your best bet? Netgear, Orbi, give you clear Wi-Fi across your whole home.
Yep.
And he said, good advice. And he bought it.
If you had great water pressure in one bathroom and not in the others, you'd call a plumber. And they might say, we need to put better pipes in.
That's a good analogy. That's a very good analogy.
Thank you. I'm very happy with it.
That's a nice analogy.
If Wi-Fi is working well in one room in the home but not the rest, and we're talking speeds are slower, buffering, that kind of stuff, that's where mesh comes in. Netgear Orbi is the brand and the product to trust, and you can find it right now on special Black Friday and through to Cyber Monday, I'm sure, at leading retailers and at netgear.com.au.
This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.
Are we talking RCS? No one knows what RCS is.
In my world, it's a radio thing. It was a radio programming software.
Okay. Well, if you're an iPhone user, you probably don't know what this is either.
Probably don't care.
But RCS is short for Rich Communication Services.
Right.
Now, a bit of background with this one. A year ago, Google and other related companies actually launched a campaign to appeal to Apple to employ RCS to create messaging equity between Android users and iPhone users. So basically, iMessage has got all the bells and whistles, so it's secure. You can exchange files at the best quality. You can have read receipts. You can see the little dots when someone's typing. So
Stephen's replying. How exciting!
All those cool features. But if you were going from Android to iPhone, it goes to the SMS and MMS system, which crunches down the file. So the picture's not as good quality, video's rubbish, and you don't get a read receipt. It's not secure end-to-end, and you don't get those other little read receipts and those other typing dots. So the reason it's called Rich Communication Services is because those features are rich features, and without them, you're left out in the dark.
So think about all those features we talked about there, the dots and the replies and things like that. Apple to Apple users see it all the time. You know, iMessage, it's the blue bubbles, all that stuff. Android to Android users, if you've got a recent phone, also happens.
Does.
But if you send a message from an iPhone to an Android or an Android to an iPhone, you can't easily. There are some that actually do kind of send it back correctly and you get a bit of a sense of things, but broadly, it just doesn't integrate correctly. So what Apple appears to be doing is accepting the green bubble people into their community.
They're going to adopt RCS. Now, this is in the mobile community. This story broke late last week, and this is massive. One of the analysts was quoted as saying, Google are popping champagne corks right now, And they can't believe that Apple's adopted this. As late as September last year, Tim Cook says no one's asked for RCS. None of our customers have asked for RCS. But
why would they? Guess
what, Tim? Your customers are iPhone users.
Yeah.
They don't care what RCS is and don't ask for it. You don't have many Android customers. That's the thing. So they've seen the light and they are going to adopt it sometime in 2024.
Sometime, yeah.
Which
basically means it's an iOS 18.
WWDC, exactly right. RCS.
And by the way, it won't be sold as being
equity.
Welcome Google phone users and Android users.
No, but
it'll be we're better than you.
They did say that iMessage would still be the premium service.
Yes.
So they're not going to just give up the ghost,
Yep.
right? But it does. I reckon it's good news and mate, we switched to Android. We got to review phones and do stuff. So it's going to make our life a bit easier too, is having those services between it, because that's the biggest pain in the bum is we're having to switch your SIM card, turn off iMessage, do this. I send a message to my wife, annoy her, saying, "Did you get this message? Can you reply?" And
you do the same with WhatsApp.
I do.
I'm on a different phone, mate.
Speaking of, what this inequity was doing was driving more people to WhatsApp.
Yes.
Like how many calls I get on the radio? Like, my wife's on Android, I'm on iPhone, and we exchanged it. It's rubbish. I said, hello, WhatsApp, we'll do it for you.
Yeah.
But now, with RCS, Apple finally seeing the light and adopting this, it's going to be a lot different.
I have two bold predictions around this. Firstly, now one of the big problems with not having RCS or having iMessage and Android is if you've got a group of 10 people and you send a group message and there's Android users in there, it drops out and it becomes not a group, it becomes individual messages, right?
Yes.
I reckon Apple will allow group messaging between iMessage and RCS, but they will still show RCS people as green bubbles.
Right.
I think they will
still be a differentiator.
They will still differentiate the Androids from the iPhones, right?
Have you heard
That's what I reckon. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I reckon that's a problem that needs to be addressed.
So my second thing,
they'll do it,
Second thing, WWDC, iMessage for Android.
So that it'll be
their way of saying,
brand.
Listen,
still their branding, but
download iMessage.
So you reckon the native messaging app on Android won't have RCS? They'll release an Android version of iMessage.
No. I'm saying it will work as RCS as it should, totally.
Yes.
But they will make iMessage as an app available to Android users so they can become blue bubble people on an Android phone.
Blue bubble people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Mate, it's the logical way to say, because what they'll do, because think about all the things they've done with iMessage lately where, and this won't work on RCS, where you put a sticker over a message and it appears in the thread. That won't work on RCS. That's very iMessage.
That's why Tim Cook says iMessage is still going to be the premium service, right?
Which is why they'll make iMessage for Android and say it's the best way to use messaging on your phone. And the great thing about an Android phone is when you install iMessage, you set it up, you create an Apple ID or whatever so that you're on the iMessage platform. And then it says, do you want this to be your default messaging app? And it takes over SMS.
Yeah, right.
Because that can be done on Android.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
I know. Whenever I like...
And Apple Music's on Android, so there's no reason why they can't build it.
Yeah. No, true.
That's me.
I think that's a good chance of that happening. But have you heard all the stories about sort of the green bubble, people looking down at the green bubble?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the
relationships have broken up over this.
I shared this. I was on John Stanley's show Monday night. And he didn't believe me. I said, mate, this is fact. There's cases of how everyone's on the dating apps and then they go, well, let's here's my phone number. Let's start texting, and this is true. I've heard this from a guy who this happened to. Right, he was an Android user and texted this girl that he matched up with on Tinder, and she saw his green bubble and said, yeah, no. Don't want to talk to you. You're an Android user.
That's the best.
Brushed because of the green bubble.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So iMessage, all those prejudices will melt away, hopefully, with our RCS.
What would happen if Amanda knew what phone I had when we were texting in the early days?
Had a Nokia? Was it a Nokia 3310?
It was a Nokia 8910. I popped, the pop-out one.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I've still got it downstairs.
Yeah, nice. Of course you have. Yeah, so interesting how that's going to... But even in all seriousness, though, I have even read... I wrote on Tech Guide when Google launched the campaign...
Yes.
And I cited all these incidents of girls at school being bullied because they're who's the green bubble, and can you believe that's a problem?
Yeah.
This is reality.
It's interesting because Victoria's on an Android phone, right?
Ah.
And she wants an iPhone at the end of this year. No, next year when she turns 14, because Jackson apparently got an iPhone when he was 14.
that right?
I'm like, how do you know that? She
So
goes, I remember.
she's tracking it,
Yes.
mate. Yeah.
Anyway.
Can't get anything past her.
And I urged early on, I said, listen, if you're going to have chats with your mates, make it WhatsApp. And then everyone's good.
True.
And that's what they do,
Everyone's
right?
equal, yeah.
But here's what's really completely off the topic broadly. But
Yeah.
I said to her, she was talking about iPhones again the other day. We were down at the baby shower and she was talking about how she's got a crappy phone. And I'm like, okay, it's a good phone, but whatever.
Is the screen still broken?
Yes. And she said casually, and she doesn't listen to this show, and Jackson, if you are listening, shh.
Yeah.
She said casually, the only thing other than iPhone would be the Samsung flip phone.
Ooh.
I thought to myself, Christmas.
Hey.
Because Daddy's got some flip phones.
Doing very well,
I would probably give her the Oppo that I've got because do you remember Issa, who we met at the Oppo event last week?
Yeah.
She had, this is an influencer from Manila in the Philippines.
She had all these different cases.
She had different cases. She had one that looked like a handbag. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm going to text Isa and say, can you, because I don't think Oppo in Australia have that many accessories,
they're from overseas, yeah.
I'm like, I need a care package, right?
Shout out to Isa, yeah.
Like if I
She's
could
from
get,
the Philippines.
If I could get VV like the Find N2 flip,
yeah, and she can
with
accessorize
one of those
it.
padded cases and a couple of accessorized because Isa she had a different case every day to match her outfit.
Wow,
perfect. Yeah. And see the Samsung cases, they're fashionable, but they're not quite that. They haven't pushed as far as I saw those ones ago.
Well, for Oppo, especially in Asia, there's a lot of third-party companies creating the. That's why Isa's got them because she lives in the Philippines and travels around Asia a lot.
Yeah,
and she was. Well, what was the one she had? Remember at dinner? I was sitting next to her at dinner. She had one that looked like a suit. Was that the suitcase night where it looked like a? It looked like it had a handle on it.
Yeah, the purple one had like a bloody. No, it was purple. It had like a handle.
Very extravagant. There was a lot to it. Yeah. That's a lot of trouble to go to actually put it on the thing.
Yeah. The two blokes wouldn't go near it with a 10-foot barge pole. But
no, we're very simple guys, the two blokes. But in her case, and anyone with a flip phone, that's kind of their personality, don't you reckon? A flip phone user, no wonder there's so many available from it because that's the sort of customer. You're a bit more. You're out there a bit more. You want to accessorize and match your outfits and stuff. So Vivi's going to get a flip phone, eh?
Maybe.
She's not watching. Don't give it up.
Maybe.
Santa.
Maybe. Oh crap! This is on YouTube. Oh no.
Hello.
I just realised.
She won't watch this far, mate.
Harry might.
She won't watch this far.
I don't think Harry would either.
Nah. He'll go to some little young YouTuber unboxing toys.
When I say
something.
Christmas, I don't mean as a present. I mean maybe if she earns it or something.
But she starts high school next year, right?
She's in high school. She starts year 8 next year.
Jeez.
Harry starts high school.
Has he asked for a phone yet?
Yeah, well, he's got a like Vivi. He's got a Motorola that he's allowed to use when he goes to the park and things on his own. Yeah,
but when he's high school, it's full-time use then.
Well, yeah, but then they're not allowed to use them anymore at school
in public schools.
Yeah,
was that all schools?
That's all. I think it's all schools.
All state schools.
I think all schools are like it anyway. So they have to have them in their bags from the moment they walk in the gate.
Boom.
Yeah, it's very different. Anyway.
Yeah, just like we did, mate. I never had a phone at school.
No, that's true.
The only phone I had was the one in the principal's office.
I did have my Casio electronic organizer, though, in year 11 and 12.
You were such a nerd.
Yeah.
I thought I was a nerd. You were a massive nerd when you were younger, right?
Massive.
Wow. Trevor never went out much when he was younger.
No, it's like someone said, how many did you on many dates? I'm like, no, I was too busy with my Commodore 64.
You know what? Me too.
Come on.
I still had the dates, but I had my Commodore 64 as well. I was a cool nerd, I reckon.
Okay, well done.
No, I still got out there, mate. I was still, asking girls out and going to the movies and stuff with them. And Trevor was in his basement or in his bedroom. Where were you?
I don't know. I don't think the computer was in the bedroom.
Okay, there you go.
No, in year 11 and 12 it was, because I had a compact Presario, Aussie mail connected.
I was a bit more social than you, mate.
Yeah.
But still loved the computer.
No, not in school time. I didn't get Aussie mail until 1995. So in school time, no, I didn't have a computer at all.
I can't tell. You were still at school in 1995? You were out of school?
No, 1993.
Okay.
Was my last year.
I was waiting for the crack.
I did have my own phone in my room, though. I got an extra line put in, yeah.
I had a TV in my room. That was big. I never had a phone in my room. I had a TV in my bedroom, though, when I was still living at home. We all had, and my own VCR too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, what'd you watch on that?
Just watching movies. Yeah. I was a big movie fan even as a young, and had a collection even when I was had my favourite movies. I got to watch Star Wars and stuff. You're asking about the other. So you're asking about did I watch a bit of Chicken and Corn, mate? I was a teenager. What do you think? What do you think?
Well,
just with the volume turned down.
I wasn't aware of it at the time. So.
This is before the internet, don't forget.
Yeah.
This is before internet. So, yeah. Our access to Chicken and Corn was not as easy as you guys have got it now. Okay, we're talking to you kids out there. But anyway.
You want to dig any further?
No, I think I've dug far enough.
All right, we've dug far enough. That's enough of episode 610. Thank you to Netgear. Thank you to Arlo. We'll be back next week. And if you are watching on YouTube, the private feed is available in the link below. If you're watching on Facebook, head over to YouTube, search for Two Blokes Talking Tech, and the private feed's up there. Otherwise, it'll be in your podcast apps on Friday night.
As well as EFTM, Tech Guide, and the movie shows.
It's all there.
It's all there. It's
the
best value podcast channel on the planet.
I wouldn't even consider wanting to charge you more. I get enough value out of what you're paying right now. See you, mate.
See you, buddy.
Oh, do I normally play something? Yeah, why not?
Everything about tech you never wanted to know. This is Two Blokes Talking Tech.